Welcome to Tech Assembler, and in this tutorial we will be discussing about assistive buttons. So how to create this assistive button like iOS phones which we have that we can drag and drop anywhere for our application. So it's very simple using the gesture properties of Ionic. So let's so we have created one page that is assistive touch through command line, and this is you can see that in this we have nothing, just a normal template what we have, and this is all. Okay, so this is our application that is assistive touch what we are going to make today. And before that I just want you to go to this gesture Ionic documentation. It is in utilities, so whenever you click on this guide, so you have this gesture property, so please read these are very useful, and we are using Angular, so we'll go with it Angular. Okay, so we are using this Ionic Angular, so I just copy this import and paste it in our .page.ts file and import this. So it looks like this, and we are making use of this gesture and this gesture controller from @Ionic Angular. Okay, so the next thing what we'll do is to import it in constructor. So for that I just write private and then gesture controller. Okay, plus gesture controller this, and one more thing, that is we'll do it later. Okay, so this I have done, and now again we'll create a function. Okay, so to create this swiper function, first we need a variable of type gesture. So swipe gesture is of gesture type. Okay, so this you will get over here, so it's type of gesture and nothing else. So now what we'll do, we'll use ion view did enter. Okay, and inside this we make use of this variable to create new gesture controller. For that we have its function gesture controller dot create, and it begins with a C bracket. Inside that we have a curly brackets because we need to give the properties what we are using. So to give the property, I just want you to go in this control and click, so you can have property associated with it. Okay, so this configure gesture configuration, so these are the property, or we some of the properties which we are going to use, like the important properties what we are compulsory to use is this el, that is element, what element we need to bind this gesture, and plus where is other, this the gesture name. So I just copy these property over here. So this is the gesture name, so you can type anything, my swipe. Okay, and one more thing, that is el, and currently we don't have anything over here, so I just pass the string. Okay, but this has to be some element, so for that what we do, we can just have over here, you can say the content element. Okay, so I have just given id to this container, so whenever we just move over this and content, or you can say over this container, whenever we move we will get the coordinates over here. So I just copy and paste it over here. Okay, so for to use any element in our HTML in our TS file. So for that we'll need this view child decorator. Okay, so inside that we need to pass this ID, and one more thing that we need to do is we need to static it's true, because this will remain in this HTML, plus we need to read this through element reference. Okay, and again we want to use it, so we'll need variable that will use. So this variable can be anything. Okay, so you can change the name of this variable, but this need to be fixed because this is the ID what we are using in and content. Okay, so now I just copy and paste this over here, and plus this is the native element, so it looks good. Okay, and now also we are having some errors. What are they? So quickly just see. Where is error? Where is error? Okay, so here is error, so it doesn't need anything, and we are done almost, but we cannot see anything over here when we swipe or make a scroll or do anything. Okay, so for that we need to attach a function. Okay, so on move, let's make use of this function. Okay, so because as we have seen here, we have so many functions. So on move, on start, or on end, you can perform a callback function that will call each and every time, okay, when you move an element. So I just wrap up in this, and move handler is a function that we can name, or just anything, move swipe. Okay, and then I need to make a function over here. I make it private. You can make public also, but I'm using it only in this file. So, and now what I will do, I just console log this eve. Okay, this is the element. Whenever we move, so we'll get some coordinates over here. So let's see, we'll getting the coordinates or not. Okay, so we are not getting the coordinates. So the problem over here is that we haven't enabled the swipe gesture. So for that we need to enable. Okay, so this is how you enable the swipe gesture. And now let's see it works or not. And now also, yeah, it's work. So one more thing that I would like to share with you, that we need to give the direction. Okay, what direction we want to use. By default it uses the x-axis, so whenever I just swipe from left to right like this, we'll get the coordinates of swiper, but whenever I just swipe from top to bottom, I will not get. Okay, and now I will get, because I have started from left to right, then I move from top to bottom. So uh, the thing that you want to use this direction, and they have restricted to use only one direction at a time. So for example, you want to move from top to bottom, so we'll move in a coordinate wise. Okay, so I just need to remove this. There's this question mark, and now we'll be able to move. So see, it's working. Now this x-axis doesn't work. Okay, so from here to where, this is x-axis and this is y-axis, and this is 0 0 positioning. Okay, so this is the way you will get the coordinates over here. So this is the current x and y coordinates, and these are some of the coordinates when we have started. So this is the start coordinate, and this is the y start coordinate. So now what next? Okay, so the next is what we need a div. Okay, and in that div I will give this ion content element over here, because we want not the ion content, we want this div to be moved anywhere. So for that I will use one ID, Okay, so which I have given the CSS in my CSS over here. I think I have just removed the CSS, so no worries. So I can just copy and paste my CSS for now. Okay, so these are the CSS, and I will just save it and just give this CSS, because we are using ID, so you can give the class also over here. Okay, so hope it will refresh and we can see some. Okay, so but we haven't applied any logic over here. This is how I have given, means I have just position it fixed, blah blah blah, few things, make it circle using border plus some of the colors and position margin, and this is how it get fixed. So now I want to move it. So for the movement we need some logic to write over here, and because we are getting the coordinates and we have to implement something over here. Okay, so to move this div we need to dynamically style it. So for styling we need few things to get this div element, and so for that we'll use some JavaScript, basic JavaScripts. Okay, so I will just paste few things and explain you how we are using it. Okay, so I have pasted some of the code over here, and one more thing I need to do. What? Okay, so I need to use the height of this screen. Okay, so to know sorry for this to know the height, I will use one JavaScript property, uh, that is, I will make it any, plus we'll get the document element dot client height. Okay, so this way you will get the height, and I will fix one more thing, that we need the total height of this is equals to 100. Okay, because it's the total height, plus we will need the same for the width also. So I will make use of here. Okay, so this is it. And we are getting the error because I've just copy pasted one more bracket. So and now let's see what is the code. So what I am just calculating is the height in, I'm converting this screen height into percent, because we are getting this screen height in pixels, the total height of your screen in pixel. What I am just doing is I am using this code to convert it into percentage, so that we can bound it like we want, only this. uh, okay, we have, fine, we have just saved the things. Okay, so I want to move this to over here and bottom at over here, because this is the total 100%, and I will just left this 5% plus a few inches from the bottom. Okay, so that it will not go above the header or below this thing. For this we have a logic that I don't want to go below 5% of the height, and don't want to move or exceed above the 95% of the total height of the screen. So we have converted this height into percentage over here. And the next thing that what we are doing is we are just getting the element which is in our document, or you can say the HTML by its ID, and making its position fixed, that we have already done in CSS, and the transition over here is none, so I will just comment it out few things. Okay, and this is the left, this is also commented out, and now I will just move it up and down. Okay, so hope it works. So these are the few things which we have used. Hope you are understanding the things. And now let's move it. So it's moving, and you can see that it's not moving above this because this is the 5%. So let me just show you that how I have calculated the things over here. Okay, so whenever I just move it, so this is the percentage height what we are getting of this, and whenever it reaches to, okay, let me clear. So whenever it reaches to like 3% or we are exceeding it, but it is not going that beyond because we have applied if condition over here. So this is how it is working. And the next thing that we want it to move it horizontally. Okay, for that we need to fix few things, that we need to move it leftwise also. So okay, so one more thing that I haven't tell you, that we are extracting the x coordinate and the y coordinate from here, like in this eve, and we are just calculating this y coordinates because y is the from top to bottom. Okay, and now we are just giving it x coordinate to move it left and right. Okay, so and we don't want any transition in this movement because it will make the drag and drop slower. Okay, and now again we need to execute one more function, whenever we are just using it, we want it to go to the left or to the right hand side. Okay, and for that we will use one more function over here, that is it is predefined function. So on end, so we'll have this again event, and it is again the arrow function, so you can use this also, dot end move. Okay, so again this if, because we haven't make any function, so that's why it is creating the problem. So now I will again make one function over here with this if, and now the error is gone. Okay, so and this whenever I just end the swipe, so what I will like to calculate, I will like to calculate the width again because we don't know the width. Okay, so I just type over here for width, and I will use here the width. Okay, and here we use the x coordinate because x coordinates deal with from left to right, so that's why we are using this over here. Okay, and now again we'll get this element by id. Okay, so I will just paste it over here because we are just reusing few things, and the other thing that we will be using is this z index. Okay, so I'll just paste it over here, and one more thing beside z index will do, so I will just style dot transition, and the transition will be for zero point 0.2 seconds for all, and it will be ease. Okay, for the movement of our ball to be ease when it will go to the end, when we end our movement. And then we have again if condition, and we'll use this per width because this is a percentage width which we have calculated, means how much width, and if it is greater than 50% of the total width, then what we'll do, will d dot style dot left, will make it to like what you can say, the 86 or the 90%. Okay, it is 991, that is beyond the screen size. Okay, and the next one is dot style dot right, sorry, right equals to, you may say that 10 pixel over here, and again we have to give it in a string. So that's it, and in the else part, what we can write the opposite of it. Okay, so in the else part, what we can have, we don't want right to be, sorry, we don't want this right to be 10 pixel, we'll make it left to be 10 pixel. Okay, and now let's see it is working or not. Okay, so we are dragging it, and yes, we are getting Perfect. So this is how you can make use of this. So if you want to apply this assistive touch over your whole app, so you just have to place this whole code in your app.component.ts and the HTML over app.component.html. Okay, so this is all. Plus you can change the CSS. I have some CSS that I have copy and pasted over here, and I will make one more div inside this. Let's give it a class, okay, of this name. So let's see what changes we have. Yeah, this is the change what we have done. Okay, and it is going a little bit on the right side, so we'll make it like 86%. Okay, and we'll make it 15 pixel to the right, and now it looks perfect. So you can drag and drop, or you can perform a click action. Like many of the cases you don't want your fab icon to be stick at the bottom, so you can make use of this over anywhere. Okay, so this is all about assistive touch, and hope you find it interesting. So if you want the code, so please visit my GitHub repository. There you will get the whole code. Thank you for watching the video. Please hit the subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon for more updates.